I really wish you had your knee brace on. Would be better.
I know.
All right, guys. Coach D, Coach Parker here. Today we're going to be talking about hip flexors. Cycling season is basically here, and even skiing, cycling, running around like a ninja. Who knows? Hip flexors get tight, sitting too long. So we figured this would be a good thing to address. And we're gonna attack it a few different ways. Obviously, anytime we're talking about the hip flexor, we're gonna end up in the couch stretch, but first we're actually gonna warm up for the couch stretch. So the first thing we're gonna get D to do is get on a yoke block and a double lacrosse ball. So normally when we're stretching the hip flexors, people think about that muscle right beneath the hip bone. That's actually the iliacus. And we're actually gonna be going for the psoas major. So that's actually gonna be further on the inside. So if you normally start right here on the hip flexor, think about going more towards the pelvis on the inside.
Got it.
Get
This
yourself,
way?
Yeah, however you want to attack it.
Go like this.
So then when you're in this position, the main thing you want to focus on is your breathing, because you're not going to be doing a lot of stretching, but as you breathe, that's so... She found a special spot.
Special.
No, so breathing is going to be the main way you stretch under tension here. So the lacrosse balls, those are going to tack down those tissues, then as you breathe, the psoas is going to stretch because it's also attached to the diaphragm. So you're going to spend about 2 minutes here. We're not going to make Dee go through all 2 minutes. She's just going to demonstrate.
I will say this. When you do these stretches, it is super important that you try to relax the leg that you are working right now. So a jerk reaction would be to lengthen or to strengthen my leg right now to avoid settling into the ball. When you settle in, you really feel it.
Exactly. So that's really important to note because you want to get the nervous system involved and you need to get your body to relax. So breathing is a good technique for that. So I would say try to do triangle breathing if you can, which is a technique of breathing in for a certain amount of time, holding it for that same amount, and then exhaling. 4 seconds is usually a good place to start there. So if you want to do 4 seconds in, 4 second hold, 4 second exhale, that's going to get your body to relax, because when you're doing that short panic breathing, that's telling your body it's a threat response because you're in so much pain. But try to relax, get through it, 2 minutes on each side, then we're going to have D pop up.
Okay, no problem.
Sweet, sweet relief. Next one, you're going to go to half kneeling. And again, you're going to be working on that hip flexor piece by driving the hip forward. What you want to do here is tuck the hips underneath so you get a good stretch through the hip flexor, and then tuck your chin down as you kind of round the back as well. Round the back forward. Something special.
Got it!
Kirby showed me that.
Yep.
Thanks, Kirby. So you're going to spend about 2 minutes there, and then for the final minute in this half kneeling position, you're going to reach back with the arm of the leg that's up. Does that make sense? Reach back, grab the heel, keep driving that hip forward, and get a good stretch. So,
I think I'm doing a very good job.
She's doing great. So as she reaches overhead, she's basically just stretching the entire system. So try lengthening as you're stretching that hip flexor. So these overhead positions are very important to kind of lengthen the system, get a little bit more of a stretch in there.
Remember to fire the glutes to help lengthen that psoas as well. So what you'll notice I'm doing when I relax my hip, I tuck and then I really squeeze my glute to lengthen it, especially on this reach. If I relax my butt, I don't feel it as much.
Very good.
Thank you.
Next one. So those are going to be the 2 things you go through. 3 minutes per side on this half kneeling, and then 2 minutes while you're hitting the psoas on the inside of that regular hip flexor that you'd be stretching. That's kind of your prep for the couch stretch. But before we go into that, you're going to get back on here and then hit the actual hip flexor that you would normally go after.
Got it.
We're mobilizing to mobilize more. It's like mobility inception.
Money.
Good. Keep working here, and then you're just going to do 1 minute per side on the hip flexor. So if you guys don't know where these are from an anatomy standpoint, find your hip bone directly beneath that. That's going to be typically what you think of as the hip flexor. Then just move inside towards the pelvis. That's going to be your psoas piece that we're trying to hit first.
Very good. Very effective.
So we're going to do 1 minute here, then you're going to pop up, go into the couch stretch.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to spend the whole minute.
I love this one. Okay.
So, drive that knee into the back corner of the wall and the ground. Kick the other leg up. And the reason we prep this position is because that transition from having both knees back to this lunge position, if you're really tight, that can be a very violent movement forward.
Yes,
and you see that quite a lot, and then you see these pain-faced people. So what we're trying to do is just get you ready to get into this position. It's basically like warming up for a workout. You warm up the positions you're gonna be in. That's all we're doing here in the couch stretch.
And 2 minutes is a minimum. Once you are working through these and you hit that 2, you can spend incrementally throughout your day up to 10 minutes. Like I break it up, but I hit it like 2 to 3 times a day, especially on my recovery days. Recovery days are the days I work my mobility the most because you're not obviously depleting yourself earlier that day. I mean, this in itself feels like a workout, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, no, people come to my mobility class and they leave surprised how hard they had to work.
Totally.
But it's important to take care of yourself. So what you're gonna do is actually just bounce back and forth between that hip flexor smash with the lacrosse ball and then go up into the couch stretch. And come down, hit the other side. And you're doing 1 minute on the hip flexor, 2 minutes minimum on the couch stretch, and then you're just gonna bounce back and forth a few times until you feel change. And Danielle has great mobility, so she is up in this tall position. For a lot of people, once you get that leg out into the lunge, you're gonna be down here and you're gonna be suffering. That's fine, just focus on the breath again.
So you can incrementally work your way up with an object. So you can be here, I can work my way up here, so I'm kind of leveraging my weight a little bit to make it less painful.
A little bit.
Focus on the breathing.
Yep.
But to get here again, I'm still firing my glute as best I can to really lengthen, especially if I have this range already. That added glute firing helps lengthen.
Exactly. And it's important to note that Danielle's coming up, you can't see it from that position, but she's driving up with a good flat back position. A lot of people, because this is the end position you're ideally trying to get to, they'll try to drive themselves up, but it looks like they got shot in the lower back. Don't do that. Only drive up as far as you can with a good stable torso. Keep your abs braced, that'll keep your rib cage down, that'll keep you from overextending too much in the back. So that's your basic hip flexor sequence, trying to open them up. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can tackle it, but if you just have tight hip flexors and don't know what to do, this is a great place to start. Thanks, guys.
Happy training! That's great. I sat there for a long time.
Yeah, that was good. You probably want to hit the other side.
I think I might. Whoa!
Hey guys, Coach D, Never Stops Running, Coach Parker here. We just want to thank you for watching the video. If you want to check out some of our other videos, we're going to put a link right here to another one of our playlists. You can check them out. And if you want to be notified when we post a new video, make sure you subscribe. I'll put a link to that right here. And also make sure you click the bell button. That'll actually notify you since the subscribe button doesn't do anything anymore. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.